Hello and welcome. Before we get started, just running through some quick house rules. We ask that you only enter the stage when invited. Please use the question tabs in the bottom right to ask any burning questions about the content we present today. And use the emojis to show us what you like about this content. Today's trainers is myself, Dustin Christlieb, a senior cloud architect over at DoiT. And with me, I have Eric. Eric, you want to do a quick intro?
Good morning. Happy to be here and answer any questions and go over some of these slides with you, Dustin.
Perfect. All right, today we are taking a look at the DoiT Google Workspace Launch Features Review, and we are going to be going through all of the Google Workspace launch features for Q4 of 2024. So if you don't know about DoiT, we are a premier Google Cloud partner. We help you find a better way to buy cloud. We help you optimize your technology in the cloud, and we have the experience to help you enable and upskill your technology personnel in the cloud. DoiT has customers across 70 different countries. We have over 900 cloud certifications and over 300 million annual in savings across customer clouds. And we do it differently at DoiT. We offer a simple start with flexible options and immediate access. We really leverage the technology to help you optimize your cloud, the experience to help you enable and upskill your cloud operators, and a better way to buy and procure your cloud. And with this, we're going to jump over into the content. So Google Workspace product updates. We can follow the Google Workspace product updates with the Google Workspace update blog. This was one-stop shop in order to see all of the updates for all of the different products. However, if you're like me, you might also like to follow the updates on your Google Calendar. So the second link here, we have a Google Calendar address where you can subscribe to that and have all of the updates on your Google Calendar as they are released. And with that, we're going to jump over into Gemini product updates. So in Q4, Google has released some updates for Gemini, including 7 additional languages. So that is French, German, Italian, Korean, Portuguese, and Spanish. So this is available in the Alpha Gemini add-on, and end users can access this and begin using these languages in the side panel with the Ask Gemini. Gemini now has summaries feature inside of Google Chat. We can see on the left-hand side how you can hover over a chat synopsis and be able to get a bulleted summary of what is going on in that conversation. Now, this does require the smart features and personalization be turned on. And then users can be able to leverage these AI-generated summaries of chats. This also works on mobile as well. You see the long press, you can get a preview of what was discussed in that chat. Gemini extensions entered open beta. So this is inside the Gemini chat application where you can turn on the extensions for your Google Workspace applications. What this does is allow you to interact and ask Gemini about content in your Gmail or in your Google Drive or even Calendar. And this can be enabled or disabled by admins, and then users can also enable or disable this on an individual level. Google has released a feature to refine emails. So this is kind of different from the help me write, but instead here you start a draft with at least 12 words, and then you can do the polish, kind of push ahead there, and Gemini will take all of the content you've currently wrote and kind of refine it into kind of a longer draft. This works on both the web and the mobile. Gemini has reached the FedRAMP High authorization. So this has been quite an effort on Google's side in order to get the Gemini application to meet the compliance standards. The current FedRAMP submission does not include any data location when you're using Gemini, and this is going to be available to all Google Workspace customers with the Gemini add-ons and accessing Gemini as one of the core services in your Google Workspace apps. In the Gemini chat, we also have the side panel feature. So this has been present inside of apps like Gmail, Google Drive, and Google Docs. Now we also have the side panel directly inside of Google Chat. Google Vids has entered general availability. So Google Vids is the AI creation app, being able to help generate videos with just a prompt or just a couple pieces of information in order to generate an entire kind of storyline. This is a really cool application if you haven't tried it already. There is also a transcription, so you can actually write out kind of your script, and then you can have the AI read the script for you. So this is really cool for video creation. We can now upload files into Gemini Gems. So what this does is create a custom GPT inside of Gemini, and you're able to upload kind of text files, PDFs, and Google Docs. And also you're able to upload data sheets like CSVs or Excel files. And you're able to reference those files when you're chatting with your Gemini Gems. Gemini also connects to Google Calendar. So as an example, we can see on from the Gmail tab, we can be chatting with Gemini in the side panel, and we can be asking it to create some events or take some action inside of Google Calendar for us. This is a pretty unique one. So inside of Google Docs, Gemini can now create full inline, full bleed over images. So essentially here you can help me create, and it will take the content that you are putting in for your prompt and for what you're trying to generate, and it will create a custom image up at the top for your kind of header. And it will also kind of help you generate the rest of the document here. We can see some of what that looks like in the create the image on the left-hand side. And then we can also see this GIF of what this looks like as well. So creating a cover image inside of Google Docs, you can give it a prompt and select a style. And then you can insert that cover image. Perfect. Google has released a new Gemini mobile app for Android and iOS. So this is available for Google Workspace and education customers. Some features are not yet supported, like the file upload or extensions and gems, but it is generally available and enables kind of quick answers, note-taking, and chart captures on the go. The Gemini app has achieved a HIPAA and ISO compliance certification. So these are great pieces of news for any organization who is concerned with compliance of your data. Now that Gemini has reached these compliance standards, I hope to see more organizations beginning to adopt these tools and really taking advantage of the AI assistance here. In Google Docs, we can also do the full stylized docs using the Help Me Create function. And in the example on the right, we're also referencing another document to bring in some of that content. And this is the full workflow. It creates the full bleed over image and creates the full page Google Docs. So this is very helpful for not starting with just a blank page. Google has released some pre-made gems for the Gemini app. So these include things like the sales pitch ideator, a hiring consultant, outreach specialist, copy creator, and a sentiment analyzer. So these are just some examples of what you can use to create your own gems inside of Gemini. It can help you create things like compiling pitch materials or writing job requirements. And each one of these you can kind of jump through and have conversations with around that particular topic. Gemini also has some new folder support inside of Google Drive. So this allows users to find files or summarize content within a folder. Previously, you could only do this with text files and PDFs, but now you're able to essentially right-click one of those folders and start mentioning it and asking questions about the content inside of there. And then for our admins, we have some new Gemini reporting enhancements. Now this shows the overall Gemini usage across your different users. And you can see how many times Gemini was leveraged across Gmail, Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Also the number of messages exchanged with the Gemini app and its side panel. All right, Notebook LM Plus is now an additional service for those users with the Gemini for Google Workspace add-on. So with this enhancement, the Notebook LM is available in 35 different languages, and we're also able to upload files and be able to listen to audio overviews of the source material. Some of the new features include being able to share the notebooks in usage analytics, and also using it with confidence, just knowing that your sources and queries are staying within your organization. It's not being used to train the model there. We are hopping over to Admin Console updates here. All right, this one we have featured partner apps in the Google Workspace Marketplace. So this is a new section of the Google Workspace Marketplace to see applications created by featured partners. You can see some examples here of what those would look like Asana, Miro, Figma. Got over to new features for being able to automate transcriptions inside of Google Meets. So with this feature, admins can create meetings to automatically set recordings or turn on the Gemini Take Notes by default. So these are available to hosts and co-hosts as well as Google Workspace admins. And when you turn these on, attendees are going to be notified when they're joining the green room that the meeting is going to be taking notes. This feature does require the Gemini add-on there. This feature has to do with enterprise content delivery networks for Google Meet sessions. What this does is reduce the bandwidth used when you're live streaming events. An example would be if you have multiple users in one office location, all on the same Google Meet. Now Google Meet will intelligently use a content delivery network to save bandwidth when users are at the same location. With this update, we have some new enhancements for the data migration tool in the admin console. Now admins have the option to use OneDrive as a data migration source when moving data from the Microsoft Office product suite into Google Workspace. So admins can now migrate files, folders, and permissions for files and get full reporting about that migration progress and metrics. This will be promising for any organization that is moving over to Google Workspace from the Microsoft product suite. We can look at what this looks like inside of the admin console as well, where we set the scopes and up to 100 users to be migrated. And then we can see the progress as it is running. We now have some abilities to migrate from Google Workspace, Google Workplace to chat. So what this means is Cloud Fuse has enabled the migration from Meta Workplace to Google Chat. This is going to be helpful because Meta's Workplace application is going to be sunsetted after June of 2026. So this enables a migration path for administrators to bring over those kind of conversations, attachments, posts all over into a new productivity suite that is not going to be ending next year. So this is excellent to see. This does require Cloud Fuse licensing in order to bring over migrated data from Meta's Workplace into Google Chat. Drive inventory. Eric, do you want to introduce this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to probably prove to be really popular. We do see a lot of questions about what's in my drive, how's it being shared, and other questions around that. So sort of a top level view for it. And with this update, there's going to be some new reporting features available for admins to go ahead and look over and generate reports from. And we anticipate a lot of people are going to have get a lot of use out of this one.
Migrating users' email from Google Workspace, Gmail, and other IMAP-enabled servers now generally available. So this has to do with the data migration service in the admin console. And previously, I believe it was in beta. So this release is now in GA. So the data migration tool makes it very easy for admins to be able to perform a email migration from another system or personal Gmail accounts or another Google Workspace account into Google Workspace. Perfect. Yeah, this is promising. Now we have email and file migration. So yeah.
Yep, and this is going to be popular for a lot of the smaller migrations, the one-offs and 4 or 5 users. If you do have a large migration and you're a DoiT customer, please give us a call or submit a ticket. We've done a lot of these large and small migrations, and I'd be happy to talk with you about it anytime. Next up, it looks like there's a new API they're releasing. Or expanding the existing API, however you want to say that, to grab some information programmatically about workspace policies. It is in beta right now, and it will return some additional information. We like to see these API expansions whenever possible because it allows administrators and folks who are interested in gathering that kind of information to do it in the back end, write a script and format it the way they want, as opposed to looking at it in the admin console, which might be kind of slow depending on what it is you're doing. So this is always welcome to see APIs opened up to give even more information about what's going on in Workspace.
Now, this is going to be very helpful. It's also worth mentioning the CISA has a secure configuration baselines project for both Google Workspace and Office 365 that leverages the policy API. So this is going to be a real game changer with how security is evaluated in the Google Workspace product suite. We now have some changes for context-aware access insights. Now we have some additional recommendations for levels that you might want to implement there. So we have suggested pre-built context-aware access levels and to remediate security gaps. And recommendations here are always to place these rules into monitor mode first. That way you're able to evaluate which users would be blocked and which users would continue to have access. And part of this update is quarterly emails to the primary admins with insights and recommendations around your policies for possible improvements.
That's a good one. Next up, the classification labels that we all know exist for Drive are going to be, or probably are now, you might be seeing them now available in Gmail. And basically this will allow you to classify emails in the same way you would Drive, and those data labels would be related to maybe some rules you have in place, some access policies, but just overall you'll be able to apply those labels to Gmail conversations and threads on the web interface. And I'm assuming in the background as well is where admins can create these labels and set rules on them.
If we can see a little bit of how this will look as well for the end user when a message is blocked. Your message is labeled confidential and cannot be sent to an end user. And then what it looks like for an admin to configure these as well. So using DLP rules, we're able to actually apply classification labels inside of the Gmail application. And all of those can be based off of matched content, the same way or similar to other DLP rules in Google Workspace. Perfect. With this update, we have some changes with how admins configure third-party applications, where admins now have more control over the scopes for each of the Google Workspace APIs. So now you can actually limit access to specific scopes. For example, you could grant access to the Google Drive scope, but not the Gmail scope for a given application. Now, this is available to all editions of Google Workspace, and it helps prevent future access expansion without admin consent.
Up next, the ability to convert CSE spreadsheets, so that's client-side encrypted spreadsheets. For example, as you can see in the bullet point here for Vault or Takeout exports, you can now convert them to Excel format. It maintains all of the security and analysis, but it just becomes portable. This is available only via request form since it still is in beta, and keep in mind the licensing is just going to be for Enterprise Plus, Education Standard, and EDU Plus at this time. As a reminder, CSE gets enabled at the domain OU and group levels in the admin console. Yep, that'll be if you are a DoiT customer and you'd like access to this beta feature, please let us know and we'll help you get that request form.
With this update, admins can now assign calendar resources to organizational units. So previously, calendar resources were organization-wide resources, with this change, admins can now set resources to be governed by policies of a given OU. So this does require an admin have admin abilities over that OU to configure it. However, with this, you can essentially restrict who can book and use given resources by the OU. This is a promising update for very large organizations.
Good stuff there. Another one that sort of expands, the administrator's ability to control what end users can do, whether those end users are some sort of admin or not. If groups can be locked now in terms of what changes can be added to them or how they can be changed. It prevents any changes to membership or any group settings. Sometimes this can be helpful if you're synchronizing a group with an external source, such as an LDAP directory or something like that. And then things, if the group does not match what the source expects, then things can get a little wonky sometimes. So it can be helpful to lock down some of these settings. It's currently in open beta right now. It says eligible workspace edition, so we don't have any listing of what those workspace editions are. But if you'd like some more information, since it is in beta, please give us a call or submit a ticket. We'll be happy to look into this further for your particular workspace edition and domain.
Right, now generally available. We now have some granular control for admin roles that can be applied via groups. So this is only available for delegated admin roles, not the super admin role. You can use groups to assign admin access to a group of users. We also have the general availability of group editor and group reader roles in the admin console.
Great. And next up, we can now migrate from Microsoft Teams to chat. It's in open beta now. Admins can do it in the admin console. They can also do Delta migrations. So it doesn't have to be just a big bang migration. So if they're testing the feature or just rolling out over a period of time, Delta migrations are very helpful for that. And perhaps unsurprisingly, it's available to all Google Workspace customers.
You can see a little bit of what that looks like inside the admin console here and the progress for chats being migrated. Right, Google has now released custom OIDC profiles for SSO configurations. So previously, SSO was only available via SAML. Now we can integrate custom OIDC profiles to be configured in the admin console. This is available for all Google Workspace customers, except for Enterprise, or Essential Starter, and for Workspace individual subscribers. You can see what that looks like on the left-hand side here, where just like a SAML type profile, we can now create OIDC open profiles in beta here. This is going to promote the connection of different types of applications.
Wonderful. The next slide is regarding app sheet reporting in the admin console. The reporting features are generally pretty good in the back end of Workspace, and now they're being focused specifically on app sheet, so admins can review what's being used in their organization, what's popular, and also manage some licensing. Some of the new features added since the public preview of this, which was a while ago, include the historical app usage, what users are installing on their own, and also if there are any secondary domains in the Workspace domain, are there any apps specific to that? I think that's great to kind of call that out specifically as a reporting function. So we'd like to see that.
Yeah, this will be absolutely helpful for organizations trying to evaluate what's popular. Now we can clearly see which applications are used and accessed most often.
Yeah, lots of shadow IT out there, and I mean, you and I both know we handle a lot of tickets about what users are using what, and why, and when, and how do they get access to it. And this will go a long way towards helping explain that user activity information.
We have a update here for admins being able to control whether users can add recovery information to their accounts. So this is definitely interesting. So this is on by default for most users, but off for education or K-12 users. And admins can override this. But yeah, I've personally seen a lot of confusion from admins about trying to reset access to an account and seeing recovery information in there, using it with two-step verification information. So I think this will be helpful for admins going forward to be able to set whether users can configure recovery information or they need to come to an admin. They cannot do self-recovery.
Good. Yeah, at least once of those a week, right, Dustin?
Perfect. Moving on to Google Calendar here.
Yeah, up new for calendar. You may have already noticed this. I certainly have in my calendar, in my Google Calendar. It's just an update regarding the aesthetics, the look and feel. It's now everything is conformed to Google Material Design 3. For me, it was a very small change. I did notice something was different, and I didn't realize what it was until I had read this update. So a small update, but anything that they can do to improve aesthetics is always welcome. I do like things changing look and feel from time to time, slightly, like this update does.
Yeah. On the chat here, we have some new widgets for Google Chat. Particularly, looks like being able to. Oh, looks like the slide wasn't perfect. Missed the text on this one. That is a-okay. It has to do with the widgets that we're going to see in the Google Chat. Different applications. For example, here we're seeing the Jira one. It can be added to Google Chat now. And we can see just kind of the chip details for it. To go back, there we go. I forgot the animation there. All right, so the Google Chat cards now have improved widgets. Just like the Google Calendar, we now have modern, sleek buttons with the Google Material Design 3. And we also have an overflow menu to declutter the card interface to kind of expand it out and see additional details. So this is awesome for any of the widgets that have these custom cards inside of Google Chat.
Yeah, for sure. And sticking with chat here, you can now add in your own video message. Sometimes it's easier to just say what you mean instead of typing it out. Keep in mind that this is on by default and it will need to be disabled. So keep an eye out for that as it gets rolled out. And this is the record in the chat compose box is on as well. So this will be recorded as part of the chat transcription. That's the way I'm reading that.
Yeah, that is a cool feature here.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to that, Google has also introduced the ability to add voice message transcriptions into the Google Chat. So get automatic transcriptions of voice messages, and this increases the accessibility, being able to allow users to read it instead of listen to it if needed.
Yep, and much like in Gmail, you can control the way that your chat density is set to. So there's comfortable or compact, and you might be familiar with that just by looking at Gmail settings. Really up to you. I prefer everything in compact mode. So it's nice to see that there's some customization there.
Google has introduced the ability to respond to conversations from the home view. So we can see what this looks like on the right-hand side. Essentially, it's a split pane that opens with a conversation when you click on a message. And this allows you to expand the icon in the conversation to view the message whole screen. And you can also toggle the split screen panes in the home view to essentially enable or disable it.
Great. In the Google Drive chat, there's been some updates there. If a document has a comment or if you're mentioned in a document, you can resolve that or respond to it straight from chat. It'll send you a notification. There's also controls around senders and how to manage those notifications, and also choosing access levels and things like that. So just another little time-saving feature. You don't have to go into the doc settings or anything like that. You can just kind of do some of these things right from the chat window.
I can see this being helpful for those where your email fills up and you might not want to go through each one through email. Chat might be a little bit easier to go through at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
We have multiple files in chat messages now. So users can now upload up to 20 multimedia files, such as videos and photos, to a single chat message. They can drag and drop the files into the compose bar, and an error will show if a user exceeds the size limits or uploads unsupported files.
Yeah, fun. Another fun one is the ability now to organize conversations in custom sections that the end user can define what section that is. You can add conversations in there, start new conversations. You can change the size of them, reorder them. There's unread buttons, read or versus unread. The search, of course, works across these different sections, and it just enables. It's sort of like a threaded view for chat. Is that the way you're seeing that, Dustin?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe even a little more so.
I find you can add like a VIP section, and you can put in certain chats or certain groups of users or different projects. It just opens up the ability to customize the way that your chat spaces and conversations are organized. Huddles in Google Chat. So we have a new feature here where inside of Google Chat, users can turn on an audio first instant meeting, essentially reducing the need to use Google Calendar, where you can just quickly hop into a conversation here and have that conversation via Google Chat. This is audio only, but you can also add video or add screen sharing at any time. And this is available in the direct messages or group messages, also in Google Chat Spaces.
Nice. More reporting available around chat, more focused and dedicated to information around how chat's being used within the organization. I think you find the second bullet point particularly interesting, user activity by engaged and communicating users. So you can sort of gauge are users are really using this service? Are they finding it helpful? Is it being used in your organization? You can get some reports on what spaces have been created by your users. What are some active spaces? So for some cleanup, if you always a good idea to go in and audit and clean up any inactive spaces that haven't been used. So You get this reporting that's a little bit more focused on rich information about Google Chat and how it's being used by your domain and your domain users.
Now have some improved ad mentions inside of Google Chat where users can reference others in Google Chat without directly adding them to the conversation. So ad mentions are now rendered as smart chips, and hovering over a smart chip will display the user's information. So this makes it easier to be able to click and start a direct message, or just reducing the overall friction in order to provide more context about mentioning someone in a chat.
Yeah.
You also have a translate for me in Google Chat. So translate for me automatically detects languages, over 120 individual languages. And it is off by default, but can be turned on by end users.
That's
And
great.
then this,
Sorry.
this is available to Workspace customers with the Enterprise add-on. So this is part of the Gemini Enterprise or Business add-ons here in order to do the translations in Google Chat.
I remember we used to have to invite a chat user, sort of a chat bot, which was a translate bot, into the conversation if we want a translation. And now this is sort of happening. It's detecting it automatically as long as it's turned on and the license is available.
Sure.
Yep.
Moving on to Google Drive here.
Yes, looks like the Drive video player has gotten an update to bring the look and feel of the video player in line with the rest of Workspace products.
This is kind of a sleek new look, modernized video player.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see. Got some updates in doc sheets and slides. So you now have a new rating for questions inside of Google Forms. The new rating can be customized between 1 and 5, and it can be icons, stars, hearts, thumbs. There's no admin control for this, but it just enables more kind of engaging feedback collection on the form. And then this is primarily aimed at end users. So you can add this into an existing form or just when you're creating a new form and add a rating question.
Very nice. Google Docs now has document tabs for you to quickly navigate to different sections, especially useful in long documents. Tabs can be nested, so you can have tabs of tabs, sub-tabs. There are emojis available for each tab, so you can, if that's the way you prefer to look at things, you can set an emoji for each tab, and generally it's going to help you out, going to help you with navigating through and helping to compose long documents, multiple pages.
Now this is a really cool feature, refreshing to see.
Yeah, and then another thing that I think that's great is that you can share a link to the specific tab instead of when someone sharing a link to the top of the document. You could say, look, you don't have to read this whole document. Here's the section that I'm referring to. I think that's really helpful.
We now have some third-party smart chips inside of Google Sheets. So we have the ability to embed content from Asana, Jira, Canva, and other applications. An admin needs to first install or allow list the add-on for this to start working. But after that, users can essentially paste a link or click a tab to create a smart chip here. And we can see what that looks like on the right-hand side. You can hover over that smart chip to get more information about that application and the content that is behind that link as well.
On Android tablets, the comments now look a little better, and they give you some more information instead of having to click and get into a whole different screen to make comments on tablets. We all know resource screen real estate is a resource to always keep in mind when using tablets. It's going to be available to everyone in Workspace and on the Google consumer side, but it is a gradual rollout, so you may not see it right away.
You now have some new Google Slide templates for Google Slides. So some new use cases include sales, education, and team building. And then you can access these in the template section. You can insert a template for all slides or just specific ones. And then these are on by default. And end users can access these through the Insert and Templates menu.
Right. Keeping on with the templates theme, there's new document templates in Google Docs. They've added 40 modern templates to built-in docs. I like the template section. There's a wide range of use cases for business, HR, and education. There's no control from the admin side. Just the regular template access to the template gallery controls will be in play here. And to access this, use the templates button, or when you're in Docs, or click File, New, and then you'll see from template gallery selection. You should start to see those show up. I personally like the templates that Google has for the most part.
In Google Sheets, we have some new table reference improvements. So these are going to include things like formula suggestions, corrections to formulas, and being able to improve the reference availability. So we can take a look at the right-hand side in the GIF of what this actually looks like. And we have some additional examples here as well, where it might suggest some different formulas for us when we are typing out a different formula, as well as some suggestions here, some formula corrections we can see.
Right. In Google Docs, if you're using Google Docs to create business workflows of any complexity, you'll find that there's some new blocks available for that functionality: task trackers, contact lists, and decision logs. There will be a new sidebar where you can find and preview these building blocks, specifically the table style of building blocks. They now have title rows and improved column types, so be sure to check those. Be sure to check those out if you're using Docs at all for any type of business workflow. Those can be very helpful.
We got a couple other examples of what this looks like as well. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Google has introduced a new policy visualization feature for doc sheets and slides files. So now on the file, what we can do is open up the policies. Essentially, we go to File, Security, and we're able to see the security limitations there. So we're able to actually inform users about different policies like data loss prevention or trust rules that would limit the file from being shared or otherwise collaborated on.
Yeah, that's really helpful to understand, kind of get a preview of what the policy is going to do or what it is doing. I like this a lot. The more communication around something like this, the better. Granular control for Google Form respondents is available now generally. And this is nice because you can decide by specific person or user account, if you're using target audiences or even groups, who is allowed to access this form. Before, it was just everyone in the domain or everyone in the world can access it now. So we're slicing that down a little bit. And allowing group owners and form owners and form creators to decide at a more granular level who can access this form.
Google has introduced the ability to do e-signatures on PDFs. So previously, this was only available on Google Doc format files. Now we have the ability to do this on PDFs as well. So we can include custom fields like phone number, job titles, and then admins can turn this on or off. As a reminder, this is available on Business Standard Plus, as well as Enterprise and Education and individual plans.
Yep. Very helpful there. Now during moving over to Meet, during live streams, there will be chat visibility during live streams. So viewers can now see all the messages. That's generally a good idea. Can be turned on or off by an admin. And if this is a feature that's interesting to you, just keep in mind that it will, it may be a little slow to get rolled out to your domain.
And we also have some new automatic framing and improved virtual backgrounds in Google Meets. And we can see what this looks like on the left. This is now available for all users, and it improves the meeting experience when using a virtual background. So before meeting or joining the meet, you're automatically going to be centered. And then the meet will also keep you centered in the virtual background. So this is on by default for new meetings. Individuals have some controls there if you need. And that is a wrap. That is all of the updates for Google Workspace Product Suite in Q4 of 2024. Again, my name is Dustin, and I'm here with Eric. It's been a pleasure to go through these with you. I think we'll see everyone next quarter.
Thank you. Catch you later.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.